Well, actually, I have to tell you, I have a terrible confession to make. Despite my service on the board of Atheists for Human Rights, and despite my being the Minnesota State Director of American Atheists, I love Mormonism. I think the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints is the bomb. And I can tell you, if I were a religious person, I'd be a Mormon in a minute. And you ask me, what is it that makes me love Mormonism? Well, it's not the magic underwear. And it's not the polygamy. It certainly isn't the abstaining from caffeine and alcohol. What really makes me love Mormonism is the Mormon belief in the afterlife. Mormons don't believe that when you die, you simply go to heaven, get fitted with wings and a halo, and spend eternity flitting around the clouds playing a harp. Oh no. Mormons believe that when you die, you become like your Father in heaven, which means you are given your own planet somewhere out there in the universe, and over that planet, you are God. It means if you want to create your own life forms in your own image, make every last one of them look just like you, you can do it because you're God. If you want to issue commandments to your creation and then condemn them to eternal suffering and torture for the most trivial violation of your most arbitrary commandment, you can do that too because you're God. My favorite is, if you want to impregnate a virgin among your creation and then spend the next 30 years orchestrating the ritual murder of the resulting offspring as a blood sacrifice to yourself, and then make your followers drink his blood and eat his flesh, you can do that too because you're God. Now, what other religion possibly offers you a prospect like that other than Mormonism? And I tell you, I think Mormons take a tremendously bad rap for their practice of baptizing people into the church after they're dead. It's one of the things that Greta Christina said makes her angry as an atheist. And she got particularly angry when Mitt Romney had his late father-in-law, who was an atheist, baptized into the Mormon church. Well, I say, if the Mormons want to baptize me into their church after I'm dead, if that means I get my own planet, plus immortality, plus omnipotence, I say in those immortal words of George W. Bush, bring it on. Now, I can understand why Orthodox and fundamentalist Christians might believe that Mormons are terrible heretics, because if you look at it, Mormons are the ultimate in polytheists. The Greeks and the Romans and the Hindus might have had a couple of dozen gods each, but if every dead Mormon everywhere in the universe is a god over his own planet, there have to be millions of gods all over the universe. And I'm looking forward to the day when we develop the warp engine from Star Trek, and we can travel all over to all of these different stars and all of these different planets and meet all of these dead Mormons, each one being a god over his own planet. That's just really exciting prospect to me. But I have to tell you that the thing that makes me most excited about Mormonism is that Mormonism has the answer to the real serious question that led many, if not most of us, to become atheists. Many or most of us become atheists because we can't possibly understand how a perfect, all just, all good God could be the terrible screw up that the God of Christianity and Judaism has been. And we all know what I mean by that. This God cold-bloodedly murdered almost the entire human and animal population of planet Earth in a flood. It's an act of genocide that makes Adolf Hitler look like a choir boy by comparison. when Moses wanted to take over land occupied by the Midianites, God told him to murder the Midianites down to their last child, except for the virgin girls who they were supposed to keep as sex slaves. When some little children mocked the bald head of the prophet Elisha, God sent a couple of bears to eat them and tear them apart. And this whole notion of impregnating a human virgin, brutally murdering the offspring as a sacrifice to yourself, and then make the followers drink his blood and eat his flesh, well, that's straight out of Bizarro world, and all of us know that. It is the fact that the God of traditional religion has been such a terrible screw-up is a major factor in bringing most of us out of religion and into atheism. Well, Mormonism has the answer to all that. Mormonism has the answer to why our God is such a terrible screw-up. And it's pretty obvious. The obvious answer is we never got the real God at all. What we obviously got instead was some low-level Mormon flunky who died on another planet and got our planet on the losing end of the cosmic lottery that follows death. And unfortunately, this experience exposes what I see as the serious conceptual flaw in Mormon theology, which is, obviously, if you take somebody who has a serious character flaw or flaws as a mortal and simply give that person immortality plus omnipotence, that does nothing to cure the character flaw. In fact, if anything, it makes it much worse. So the thing that we'll have to accept is that if all of us convert to Mormonism or are baptized into Mormonism after we die, once we get our own planet somewhere out there in the universe and we start governing that planet, we will govern that planet subject to the same flaws of character that plague us in our earthly existence, and that's just something we'll have to live with. But I am confident in this. I don't think any of us who get our own planets and become God and exercise our divine powers, I don't think any of us will screw things up anywhere near as badly as the low-level Mormon flunky that we got stuck with here on earth.